Meanwhile, the shutdown has ended, but another one could be right around the corner. Joining us now, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. And what's the definition of insanity, Majority Whip Emmer? Just doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different outcome. January will come. Is this going to happen again, what we just saw?
It shouldn't. And by the way, great to be with you this morning. After 43 days of a ridiculous shutdown, I think it's very clear, whether it's coming from President Trump or it's coming from people in Congress, with the exception of a few on the far left, this should never happen again. We've got 3 appropriations bills done, as you know, out of the 12. They were passed with the government extension a couple days ago. There are 3 to 6 that are ready to be closed up. My hope is that they can close all 12 before the end of December, Joe.
The original pandemic era subsidies got 0 Republican votes. Why was there any reason to think they'd get any this time and to shut the government down? And why is there any reason to think if this is put to a vote, it will pass? Because it's not going to, and they're going to be enraged. You're going to see Hakeem Jeffries doing, I don't know what you'll see. I don't know what Chuck might be hiding somewhere, but Hakeem Jeffries is going to be going bonkers, as are a lot of Democrats in the House.
Well, I don't know what they're going to be going bonkers about.
Because it's not going to pass.
Literally, they broke health care in this country with something called the Affordable Care Act. Since the Affordable Care Act was passed with only Democrat votes,
right,
the cost of health care for the average family in this country has gone up almost 100%. And now they think just throwing more money at insurance companies is going to somehow address that problem. It's time to actually reform the system, Joe. So these enhanced premium tax credits, as you point out, were created during COVID. They were temporary. It was for the extraordinary circumstances created by COVID. The Democrats passed them, set them up to expire at the end of this year. They claim this is what the issue's about. But, Joe, premiums are going up on average, health insurance premiums, 30% this year.
Right.
Guess what? You pass these even for a year. You know how much of it that will attack? About 5% of that 30.
I guess
it is a structural problem.
Proponents would say, Congressman, that the uninsured people in the United States went from 19% uninsured to 8% uninsured, whatever it is, through Obamacare. It's almost as if they're saying, as expensive and unwieldy and flawed as it is, at least it brought a lot of people health care that they're able to have. And I don't know if it's a basic human right, but we'd like to have everyone insured because it also costs us money when they're not insured. And that, according, what did Bertolini say yesterday? $10 billion a year
that's real.
Is what's saved. 1 year extension of these subsidies is $40 billion. So $10 billion is a drop in the bucket.
Well, I think we need to make it affordable. Everybody needs to be able to have access to the best health care in the world. But look at Minnesota. Before the Affordable Care Act, Minnesota had 94% of our citizens covered under some form of insurance. And by the way, it'd be closer to 97 if a certain group accessed the programs that were available to them. Since the Affordable Care Act's been passed, great. They're going to use statistics to say that we got more people across the country insured, but they're getting less for the insurance, Joe.
Yeah.
It's not about the insurers. The insurers are getting checks directly, and they're fat and happy, the health insurers. It's about the American people. It's time you put some transparency, some competition, some choice back into a real marketplace.
Can I ask you just a different affordability question? And we're going to talk to Jameson Greer in just a little bit about tariffs. So one of the things that the administration seems to be doing is trying to work out some new deals on tariffs to lower the price of things like bananas, coffee, and other things. Wouldn't you suggest, in terms of affordability, if that is actually an issue, that tariffs made it less affordable for Americans?
Actually, Andrew, while I appreciate the way your perspective on the question, the fact is it was Democrats under Joe Biden who pumped $2 trillion into the economy with something called the American Rescue Plan, which economists have called the original sin. They threw the economy into the ditch.
Right.
Because of that, double-digit inflation like we hadn't seen in 40 years. Donald Trump inherited this broken economy. He's been fixing it. I'll tell you what.
The question is whether you think the tariffs are helping it.
I think he has been winning on the tariffs, without a doubt.
winning in terms of the price for Americans that they're paying for goods?
Donald Trump and his administration
Because of the
have
tariffs.
driven down costs on groceries. Gas is at a 5-year low, Andrew.
Then why are we making new deals why are we making new deals on coffee and
remember,
bananas and other things?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's not a one-way street. This is about giving our producers access to markets that they have been denied over the years. This is about fairness. This is about putting Americans first. I think Donald Trump has been negotiating better than any president in our history in terms of trying to make sure that Americans not only have the things that they want and they can afford them, but that we have access to other markets that we should
When
be in.
Speaker Johnson said for Republicans to get on board with these enhanced subsidies, he said there'd be a lot of things that they would ask for in terms of reforms for Obamacare. Do you know what he's thinking? Is there any way that they get a year extension at this point? Are there enough things that they could do to induce Republicans to pass that, or are we going to have to wait for Congress to change?
So as the whip, you just pointed out the Speaker was giving you those answers. The Speaker will make that call. He'll decide
talk to you?
what we're going to do. My job is to work with our members to get things passed when that call is made. In this
not
case,
an actual whip.
Not an actual whip?
Yeah, you don't
Like
you don't
Indiana
have an
Jones.
actual whip. Yeah.
Well, actually, there is one on the wall in the office, but no, we don't use it.
Will there be, in your view, another reconciliation bill? Because the Republicans haven't really been able to do anything since the first one, right? There's a lot in there. But.
Oh, that's not true. I think we've done plenty, and we were well on our way to getting back to a regular order appropriations process when we gave the Democrats a clean CR on September 21st, well in advance of the September 30th funding deadline, and they blew 43 days. So now we're trying to get back to that, and I think that'll be the number one thing. If people can talk about reconciliation all they want, I think the goal right now of this Congress, with this administration, is to finish the appropriations process so that we have a full year funding and we can get on to permitting reform. We can get on to financial services, health care reform, the things that the American people have hired us to do.
And the prospects for keeping the House?
I think we're going to hold the House. I do. Mechanically, the numbers are with us. There are 11 Democrats sitting in seats that Donald Trump won right now. There are 3 Republicans. The mechanics of seats that are available for Republican candidates and a Republican message are much greater than the other side. And Joe, the other side, what are they going to run on? They don't have a leader. They don't have a message. All they have is, we hate Trump. You should, too. That's not a winning message. That's why Republicans are going to hold the House next fall.
Can I ask you just one question about sort of the control of the House, Senate, and the White House on the Republican end? So if you look at what's happening, for example, at the SEC, in a couple of weeks, there will be no Democratic commissioners on that SEC at all, right? One of them stepping down, that'll be that. And it's unclear, given this situation, whether there ever will be. And I wonder whether, maybe you say the practical reality is it doesn't matter to have that if it's going to ultimately be controlled by Republicans anyway. But do you think that there's value in having, for example, a Democratic commissioner on the SEC, even as a check or as somebody just in the room with another perspective? I'm just curious how, because this is true not just, by the way, the SEC, about to be the SEC, but of a whole number of other agencies.
Wow. And here, first off, to your question, I think it's always great to have different voices in the room having discussions about what they believe, why they would do something, why they wouldn't do something. That's literally what we do within the Republican conference. But the problem that this administration is trying to deal with is a serious one. The SEC was a complete, ideological fiefdom of Gary Gensler for the last 4 years that literally was attacking people who are trying to create new opportunities in this country. I have no issue with the White House coming in with a mandate from the people and saying, we're going to restore these agencies to the spot where they are working for people, not for their political ideology, creating more opportunities with the greatest capital markets in the world.
But what does that mean in terms of also
about.
having different political parties on the commission?
Different political perspectives is different. You don't know what the political parties are now. You just had a Marxist, communist, socialist, whatever you want to call them, elected here in the city of New York.
Right.
I don't know what that means. I know that different perspectives are always very healthy, and I'm sure that's where this will go, because you're going to have different voices.
But just so we're clear, you're talking about different perspectives within the Republican Party, not different perspectives of different parties.
No, I told you that within our conference, we have that same type of interaction. But I think all people from all walks, even your mayor, we should sit down with your mayor and we should talk to your mayor and find out really what are your economic policies? What is it that we could actually work together on? Right now, I don't know what it is.
You know, you're from Minnesota. You really shouldn't be talking about what other places do and who they elect. Not for nothing. But I don't even think you voted for Reagan. Did you?
I did. Yeah, no, we're the only state.
How's that governor doing?
You know, he is the most incompetent. His administration.
I didn't want to open up the floodgate. Far be it from me to get you started on that.
It's something Minnesotans have to deal with every day. He's an embarrassment.
We all have to deal with it somehow. I don't know why. Majority whip time ever. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.